She had an idea, she brought it to Reforma, and now it's been around for 15 years. In fact, we are looking forward to and planning for a 60th year of DIA in 2012. Since those early days, DIA has come to be known, has increased in visibility and in impact. The Association of Library Services to Children, ALF, has been involved with DIA for 10 years, since 2001. The ALF's mission is to provide a better future for all children through libraries. So this partnership is a natural one. As an ALF board member from 2003 to 2006, I have been watching these celebrations grow, and I am currently one of the responsible parties for the DIA event at the Dover Public Library. I've watched our own investment and excitement about DIA grow as each year it changes and improves. We are already planning, as I said, for the 2012 Dia de los Niños, and we hope to have a terrific event with our partners, which are the Denver Art Museum, Colorado Historical Society, and the Byers Evans House. Celebrating the importance of literacy for children of all cultures has been the goal of DIA since its inception. More and more we are discovering that learning to read and succeed doesn't begin in school, but with parents who are our children's first teachers. It begins in the womb. Recent research on brain development has increased our understanding of how the preparation for learning starts early. DIA is an excellent reminder that making books fun and celebrating story is critical to the success of all of our children, no matter what their cultural background or their learning style. I could talk about that all day. Unfortunately for you, we aren't able to hear me speak. But to listen to Pat, before she does, I really need to mention at least a few of the many, many books that she has written. We had a wonderful slideshow of the covers of many, many of those books. Some of my favorites are Pablo's Tree, Listen to the Desert, Tomas and the Library Lady. And I really can't sit down at all until I note that she is an honorary member of ALA. She has won a Piero Belpre Honor Award for Dona Flor, a tall tale about a giant woman with a great big heart, and her recent book Fiesta, which I have in my bag, was a 2010 Children's Notable Book. So many favorites of all of her work. I've long known Pat Mora for her encouragement of artists and creativity, as well as for her many honors and awards, too many of those to mention. But today we are fortunate enough to have with us her daughter, an emerging co-author. Libby, would you please stand? Senora Mora knows how to encourage her own family and those of us who are members of her library family who are here today. Please join me in welcoming Pat Mora to speak on the topic of extreme young, the things of sharing book joy and growing DIA. Ladies and gentlemen. I am so excited to be here. Some of my favorite people are in the room. And what I regret is that I don't know you all personally. One of the problems with a conference is you end up talking to the people you know, and you sometimes don't get to meet the new ones. So I hope some of the new ones will come up and let me get a chance to meet you. I have to be sure and say, thanks to the people who made that wonderful meal. It's so easy. I've been in my life the behind-the-scenes person. And so I know, like Linda Mays back there, people who make sure that it all looks good and it all looks smooth. And I had a wonderful ambassador, Heidi, over here, who has seen to it that I didn't embarrass anybody while I was here. I want to thank, in a particular way, ALA for sponsoring this luncheon. No one could have been more surprised than I was when I received the envelope that I was an honorary member of ALA. It is an honor that I prize and really try to live up to.
because I believe in the power of the organization. I want to introduce you to the other person who was sitting with us, my son-in-law, Dr. Roger Martinez, who teaches medieval Spanish history at Colorado Springs. And I will tell you more about Libby later. But I will tell you she was being very sassy at lunch. And I said to her, yes, but I'm going to be up there with the mic, and you're not. That's one of the joys of motherhood, right? But I want to say, a few words, of course, about Reforma. And where are you at Aya? There you are. Well, stand up. It was when I was first getting to know Oraya that the idea came to me. And she just took it on as she can, It was her cause. It became Reforma's cause. There was no way Reforma was not going to embrace the concept that, I had never heard about it, Dia del Niño, never heard about it growing up on the border. But then when I did, I thought, what a natural thing to combine that with literacy in a country that's facing the kind of challenges that we are facing. I have treasured Reforma members. I'm looking at so many of you, who have worked tirelessly. And whenever I talk about Reforma, I always say they're the people who work double and triple time. And you do. You do your, quote, regular job, but also you do it out of so much commitment. And I'm thinking of a librarian in one of the Oregon libraries, not Latina, and that's one of the other things I love about Reforma. It's easy to talk about diversity. It's hard to live it. Right? It's hard to live it. And Reforma lives it. It lives it. And it's the diversity I see in the room, that means so much to me. This was an Anglo librarian in Oregon. She was determined to have a DIA event, and she said to me, at the end of the day, there I was with all the little flutes I'd made for the kids the night before till 11 p.m., and I was the only one left in the library, but I was just determined that everybody was going to go home with something. And I think that that's so symbolic, of the kind of work that a lot of you have done. A lot of you as managers who have supported Reforma. That's essential. But a lot of you who are, in the trenches. I see Lisa Tooze out there from, northern Kentucky, and Lisa will say to me, give us the charge, we'll take the baton. And what kind of an email is that to receive? And at the end of a really tiring day, it means so much. So there are so many of you in the room, I could just go around the room and talk about so many of you who are really at the heart of DIA. And I think, DIA's heart is about sharing book joy. I love the pictures of the mariachis. I love the pictures of the food, but that's not the heart of DIA. It is about sharing book joy. It is about sharing what you and I were blessed to grow up having. Nobody earns literacy. It was a gift. And I thank my beloved mother, who was a reader, who took us to the library, and I can't imagine my life without books. I don't know who I would be. They are so central to my life. And to think of thousands and millions of families in this country who do not have a single book at home, who do not have a literacy tradition. And you know what? We're the ones who can make the difference. We are the ones who can make the difference. It's just we need to get a lot of people to join us. So Keith is too polite to turn and run when he sees me coming. But I have often thought that he probably has that desire. Because what advocates do is they persist. And so it's nice to be liked when you're nice. It's harder to be liked when you persist. But to make the change, that's what we each have to do. Each in our own style, in different ways. You know, they're very quiet leaders, and there are very vocal leaders. But in a way, I feel like, you know, the country is counting on us. Because nobody's talking about this very much. You see the statistics that the SAT reading scores were lower than ever. Well, that gets dropped, and people go on talking about the debt and, you know, the political candidates, and all that matters. But at the same time, there are little ones going into kindergarten who are struggling with reading in first grade, whose parents don't feel they can support them at home, and they are counting on us to coach them. We were not born knowing how to read, and we were not born knowing how to support readers. But there are families, and they speak Arabic, and Iranian, and Vietnamese, and Mandarin, and Spanish, and they are depending on us to coach them, and to say to them, your kids need you. And it just breaks my heart when I look at